I've written in many places about the so-called seeking mode, one of the 5 primitive emotions humans share with members of the animal kingdom. And it's one of the most important emotions for all of us. It's anticipation, the hunt, not the catch. For animals, it's been postulated that it's essential because it's helped them investigate and work out the meaning of their environment. It's that sense of high anticipation all of us feel, or intense interest, or insatiable curiosity. Scientists have found that when we're curious, the feel-good neurotransmitter dopamine is produced. They used to believe that this chemical itself caused the pleasure. But what they now understand is that the true purpose of this chemical is to arouse a certain neural pathway. And what actually feels good is the activating of this seeking portion of the brain. Interestingly, years and years ago, in the 1960s, a neurobiologist, Barry Sterman, at UCLA in California, discovered that seeking and curiosity actually sent cats into a meditative state. They went into an alpha state. Their brains actually slowed to an alpha state, just like humans do, just before they got their food. So remarkably enough, Sterman trained cats to recreate this state at will. And what happened was, it was tantamount to the animals being able to control their own brainwaves. So the question was, could we do the same? Sterman needed volunteers that had brainwaves that were really out of the ordinary. So he tried this out at first on a woman suffering from periodic epileptic seizures. Epilepsy is caused by the brain firing what are called theta brainwaves at inappropriate moments. So Sterman created an EEG machine that would flash a red light whenever a theta wave appeared. And then a green light would go on when alpha waves appeared, those slow waves that indicate we're in a calm meditative state. So this woman volunteer learned to change her state at will and to reduce the number and intensity of her epileptic fits. This technique has now been taught to many epileptics who are now using it. They're also using this technique, amazingly enough, to reform alcoholics. In the 1980s, some American psychologists figured that they could use this kind of brainwave biofeedback with people who had problem drinking, because what usually happens with people with intense addictive personalities is they have certain high beta brainwaves inappropriately that are dominant during moments of this kind of craving and dependency. Scientists found that if they could train these alcoholics to increase their own alpha wave frequencies and damp down these beta wave frequencies, that they would control their addiction and also establish what's known as brainwave coherence. Their brain would operate in a more orderly fashion. So what was amazing about this work is that something like 80% of the alcoholics were able to control their cravings and stay off alcohol, but also become better people. They were more coherent. They were more ordered. They operated with better intention. So the question this leaves us with is, can we master our own brain activity through biofeedback? And the answer is a resounding yes. Research at the University of Chicago has even shown that when using EEG machines, people can learn to work out how fast their brains are moving and slow them down. For instance, in one test, volunteers had to guess if their brain waves were mostly slowed to alpha waves. After only 2 days, the volunteers could guess correctly 2/3 of the time. And 2 days after that, virtually all the time. With other research, people have learned to use this technique to put themselves in a particular brainwave state right on cue. So this whole technique in medical circles is called EEG biofeedback, and it's been developed into a very sophisticated means of controlling the range and type of frequencies emitted by the brain. It's being used now to treat patients who have been severely traumatized, people who are very depressed. It's been used for students to help them concentrate. It's been shown to enhance creativity and focus. So all of these are techniques of using modern equipment to create intention mastery. It shows that we can control our own brains brainwave by brainwave. We now know that we can use modern medical equipment to send very precise instructions to the body. But there are other kinds of instructions we can do too, and one of the most common and successful is hypnosis. Hypnosis is just another form of intention. It's an instruction to the brain when the brain is in an altered state. And of course, this is the state we want to get to, the state we're going to practice in our powering up session.